And we're back on another exciting episode. I can, I've been doing this for 5 years and I can't get the opening right often, which is really weird. Anyways, we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we are focused on Star Trek Prodigy, episode 3. I said episode 2 on Twitter earlier, but it's actually episode 3, Starstruck. And I'm joined with Marcelo, and I think PJ's on his way. How are you doing, Marcelo?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me once again on the main channel. I really appreciate that.
The Chan, as I like to call it. Yes, this is the main channel. You've been on Starfleet Boy After Dark quite a bunch, but welcome to the main channel. For audience members who don't know, we have can we call it a sub channel, like a side channel?
Yeah, we have a little side channel.
Called Starfleet Boy After Dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have in the audience Geek and Review all the way from Scotland. I've not seen it yet, but hello Geek, nice to see you, buddy. Hollow Nanny, which was a great moment in the episode, says I should be the captain. Sheesh, which is another. Oh, captain, my captain. Lots of laughs going on in the audience. Thanks for joining us, guys. Please let us know what you thought of this episode, and what stood out to you in it. And we have PJ. Yay! Hey PJ, what's up? How's it going?
Hi, sorry I'm late. I was trying to get my camera to work and it wouldn't work.
Of course not.
Of course not.
But I'm glad you're here.
The webcam is very old.
I forgot to do like the spoilers banner. Hold on. Spoilers for Star Trek Prodigy. Starstruck. PJ, do you want to do or maybe Marcelo, do one of you gents want to do the episode summary? It's got to be real quick though, because it's only a 20-minute episode.
Yeah, I'll leave you guys to do the summaries.
You want to do it, PJ?
Well, it picks up right after when the kids escaped the mining place, whatever that was, and
the Chimerian mine.
And Janeway gives them the rundown on what Starfleet is, with a bunch of fancy holograms, and Jankum Pog and Rock Talk are sold on the idea, but Dahl, for some reason in this entire episode, has to be an idiot and a jerk, to learn his lesson. We all understand what's going on here, but it's one of those things where Janeway is, the hologram Janeway is not exactly as smart as I thought she would be, because she thinks they're cadets.
No, the Hagemans even confirmed it. And I saw it. I saw it in her eyes. She knows something's up. She's just
okay.
She threw it at them too. She's like, I know what you guys are. Informal, not in uniforms. You're cadets. She's like, I think she's like playing along. Like, I don't know. She's like doing this thing, like making them believe something. Janeway's tricky. Janeway Hollow is tricky. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
Because I was thinking that too. Why would a hologram? Why would even a hologram, an intelligent one, would would know the difference? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, what's up with that? So I guess later on she's gonna say, yes, I knew the whole time that you were renegades.
They are. That's what they actually are, renegades.
So anyway, Janeway says, you want to plot a course to Federation space, to which Dal doesn't. Is it Dal or Dahl? Dal.
Dal. Like a Dal or whatever.
I've heard it seems to be like Dal.
He objects.
Dal.
And he wants them to set a course for a
nice
dying star. And Janeway tries to warn him, but he kind of shrugs her off. Anyway, they get into a situation where he has to ask for help from Janeway.
Yeah, they're stuck in the gravity of the star, and also they have what's her face? Sorry, Gwyn.
Who's doing the summary, me or you?
Oh, sorry, go.
You cut me off. Huh?
I did, I'm sorry.
Yeah, everything you just said. And, okay, you just threw me off now. Somebody else continue.
Okay, I'll continue.
I was going somewhere, but yeah.
So yeah, she's in the brig, and because of Dal's like inability to want help, he says to divert all power to the I guess the impulse engines, and so it cuts out the power on everything in the ship except for like the life support or whatever. She escapes. I'm being the hollow nanny. That's funny. She escapes and uh, goes to try to escape in the escape pods, which are also launched and jettisoned because Dow's trying to like lighten the load on the ship. And then uh, she discovers through the computer that the ship Protostar can build, can like actually replicate a shuttlecraft, which is cool technology, which I definitely want to talk about. But that doesn't work because they send Rock Talk down to get her, and Rock Talk and she have a really good fight. And while this vehicle's being made around them, and I'm already going way too long. PJ, come on, take it home.
I did not like. That's one thing that I did not like about this episode, the ability that the Protostar has to build any shuttle. Whenever. With that being said, I did like the fight between Rock and Gwyn in the bay where the shuttles were being built, but I thought that was a little bit of a writer's convenience. I thought that was just a little bit too convenient for my taste. But
we forgot to mention Daddy's on his way also on the planet,
yes.
and my Cation kitten is being worked to death in the mines, and I'm really worried about her or him, right. Them.
One thing that I particularly liked about this episode is that the question was posed that Gail is going to have to start being responsible for her own actions.
Gwyn.
Thank you. Tony Gwyn, name association. Yes. Yes. So I think that a part of her character this season is going to be her learning how to be responsible for her own actions and learn that her father is a pretty shady and evil individual. So I'm really interested to see how she's going to grow as a character from that aspect.
Yeah, we get hints of that, I feel like, in the brig scene where Rock Talk is confronting Gwyn about why did you just let all that happen, and Gwyn admits that, like, she kind of like makes a good point. She's like, well, I was kind of I was doing what you're doing, is following orders. Later on she says that, but also at that point she's like, well, I didn't really know, I believed you were all criminals. So that was a really good scene.
She
by
didn't.
The way.
She's lying. She didn't believe they were criminals. She knows better. I mean, she obviously knows better. She's full of shit when she's trying to be sincere. But anyway, I think Gwyn wants to go back and save that little Cation. Don't know if the Cation has a name, but I think it's going to be pretty devastating when she goes back there and she's going to find a little Cation corpse with no eyes in the sockets. And
that's your rated R moment.
all of the people they wanted to save were massacred.
That's not going to happen on this show. I can pretty much I'd put money, actually. I'd bet that won't happen on this show because it's not.
It's one of the in all seriousness. It's one of the in all seriousness. It's one of the most comforting things about the show is that I know I'm not going to see any bullshit like that.
Going back to the hollow replicate, I know I'm like umming a lot. The Marcel, you said you didn't like it. May I ask, like, what didn't you like about it?
I just thought it was a little bit convenient. I would have loved for her to be stuck on the ship and to have her deal with Rock Talk without having that added element to their fight. It
was hokey though. I liked the actual ship thing that creates the shuttles and whatnot. That's a cool idea. But like for them to have the fight while it's going on, I thought that was a little bit silly.
Really,
like,
that's funny.
Wouldn't the computer know hey, there's fucking people moving around in this ship. Maybe stop doing it. Like,
No.
but anyway, it's just one of those things you have to accept because it is a kids show. It is. I'm not saying it's dumbed down in that way. I'm just saying that particular fight scene was a little hokey.
I think there's going to be a lot of things that they skip in terms of explanation, and they're just going to go with it. And I agree that like so I love the shuttle thingy. That's why I was asking, because I was curious like what you didn't like about it, because it's kind of like a step in between. It's kind of like where I thought replicator technology would be, by like around this time. And I like that it's not like fully replicated, just like the same as like a replicator would. Like I like that it has to kind of like 3D print, like it draws these like
stages.
Yeah, it has to do it in stages, which makes sense because you're building something more complicated, I guess, than like burritos or whatever, right? So it just kind of made sense to me. I do see that, like, your point about like PJ 100%. I think the computer would have safety systems like in place that would recognize that there's someone in the construction zone, and
it's a mild criticism
stop the
because
process. Yeah, but
they could have easily avoided the fight and actually just had more dialogue. And I understand like that it doesn't match the action that's going on, like to have action and then have deep conversation. But they do have some dialogue there. But
during the fight,
there's a really great moment of rock talk on the replicators. The replicator scene was probably the best, my favorite scene in the episode, because rock talk orders the sludge that they served her for years, and she's like, I don't know anything else. And then Janeway's like, I like a gal who knows what she wants, like
to make her feel better.
Make her feel better. I was like, oh, that's nice.
That is really nice. Yeah,
touched my heart, brought a tear to me eye. Not really though, but
yeah. Rock Talk really shone this episode. I thought she was the highlight for sure. There were a lot of
best
good
character
moments
in the show, I think. I
think
think that's going to be the
cool.
That character is going to be, because everybody loves a big softy. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's very physically intimidating, but like is, they have that little vulnerability.
And Rock Talk's, doesn't just look physically intimidating. Rock Talk can hold her own in a battle, like in a fight. That she was blocking and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
There's
there.
There's a genuine emotion to the character too that
you
don't exactly feel with like Dal or the others. Like Gwen and I think Rock Talk are the most relatable, I guess. I don't know, because they're both on each side of the fence. But I think a kid could watch it and see something of themselves in both characters.
The others are a little thinly written for my taste, and like I'm not. Ooh, that's yeah. Like I'm having a problem getting connected to everyone else besides Rock Talk and Gwen. Like my favorite character is Gwen. So,
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you find Dal very unlikable in this episode?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I was really annoyed. I would say I liked Dal, but I was really annoyed with Dal. I thought he was being stupid.
It was you know what it felt like to me? It felt like one of these things they do in media where they force the character to be a little more stubborn than it seems realistic. I know it's a cartoon. It seems realistic.
No,
but
I mean,
they do show that he's paranoid about it though. You know what I mean? Like he's cynical and he doesn't trust things. So I guess there's that side to it that they do present, but I was still annoyed. Someone
on Twitter posted something that I thought was that resonated with me, is that, regardless of the target audience of the show's very sophisticated. And that shows, like, going back to the scene real quick in the beginning, where Janeway's introducing the Federation and Starfleet. And first of all, as a Trekkie, I was like, if a kid ever asked me, like, what's the Federation or what's Starfleet, I'll just be like, here, let's play this video. And, it's like a great tool because it like lays it out in a very like easy, like another, sorry, I'm getting like.
Did they show the Discovery version of the oh God, what's that mirror universe ship that they had from TOS, and Archer was on it too.
Sorry,
I'm blanking.
the
Oh my God.
Defiant.
The Defiant.
You're
Yes.
thinking of the Defiant.
Did they not show the Discovery version of the Defiant?
Oh, I don't know. Now I have to go back and watch tomorrow
Wait a
on
minute.
Text
I
Track
thought I
when we
saw
do a
it,
deep
and I
dive,
thought I
we'll
saw
find
the
it.
Discovery herself.
Wait
Yeah,
a
the
second.
Discovery was there. Crossfield class was there.
Hold the phone.
But that canonically wouldn't jive because Discovery is like.
Hold on. There
No,
is a
but Crossfield class could still be like.
Yeah,
Remember? Yeah.
But the fact that they're showing that specific ship along these like iconic ships, it's like they're kind of highlighting the shows. It seems like, as opposed to like it's a nitpick. Sorry, go ahead.
Hold the phone. There is a Discovery version of the Defiant. How did I not know this?
Yeah. When they go to the mirror universe, you see what the fate of the Defiant was, and it looks like they modified her by changing the style of the pylons mainly, and then cutting out like wedges and stuff like that.
However, that explanation doesn't jive with the historical depiction of the Defiant. If that's what I saw, I did only see the episode once.
The Defiant, but remember it kind of like works in that case because remember the Defiant went back in time through this weird thing, and an Enterprise is when she ends up in the mirror universe.
And
so
now
she
my brain is melting.
sorry, I just
So much knowledge. So much knowledge.
I'm just trying to be funny.
There's a lot. But going back to that moment with Janeway, when she's introducing the Federation, like that really kind of resonated with me, and I was like,
That
oh,
gave
this
me
is
the
cool.
feels. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also reminded me of like, in a way this show is kind of like a refresher course for anyone like who loves Star Trek. Like, if you're like, because the idea of the Federation and Starfleet, can get convoluted as you go along the journey of Star Trek. So in a weird way, like Prodigy is reaffirming like the core principles, if you will, and the core ideas in Star Trek, because it's trying to present like the most important things to a younger audience and like get them into like kind of like, so that when they start watching other shows, they're like, oh, that's what they were talking about on Prodigy, and like I know about this. And I really, really love that. And that was one of the things that like gave me the feels, like it gave you the feels, was just like hearing this like about this Federation. And then even later on, and it's not just done in an obvious way, but it's done in subtle ways too. Like later on when Jen Compog's like, oh, I don't have any credits to buy food. She's like, that's when she explains it's free. Like in the Federation has moved past like, and I like that she modified it. Most people are saying like, oh, there's no money, but she's like, we've moved past something like traditional forms of, currency, which like is a more, I think, appropriate definition based on what we've seen on screen, where like sometimes people have money, sometimes they don't, like sometimes
it's a clever way to say that too, just like how I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it, my mind I just had a brain fart. I had a thought and then it was gone. I interrupted you for no reason.
It's okay. I think
it happens to me all the time.
I think what I was commenting on is like how like it's a more, the statement she made about there not being any money in the future, it's more accurate and like more correct to what we've seen on screen.
I meant to compare that to how they say Federation standard as opposed to English.
Right.
'Cause Federation standard can mean whatever language in whatever country you're in. You know what I mean? As
right.
opposed to Federation is exclusively English speaking. Federation standard can be any language depending on who you are and what language you speak.
Oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. I assumed it was that Federation standard is English for some weird reason. But
yes, to us, but I mean,
but I get what you're saying.
In a foreign country where all the actors are dubbed over, it just it translates better. You know
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That makes sense. Like because it's not
standard. The Federation
English.
It means something. Means Spanish, or I don't even know if
Pakistan it means Urdu. In Ireland it could mean Gaelic for some people, and that's cool.
But because it is an American show, you can just safely assume that Federation standard is English or Esperanto, some form of Esperanto.
I also like that she distinguishes Starfleet's role in that explanation when she's talking about the Federation, and then she talks about Starfleet briefly and says how it's like a representative of exploration, and like, you know, does the whole boldly go thing, and
Yeah.
you know, that was very cool. And that was one of the reasons I was really pissed at Dal after that, was because it's like I was sold on it too, just like just like Jankopagi's like, were we listening to the same pitch here? Like, you know, it's like, it was very funny. What do you think, like oh, and sorry, one more point is, even though I was annoyed with Dahl, I really thought it was sad that his motivation and mistrust of authority comes from like just being abused, basically,
Yeah.
you know, and like, you know, being in these like terrible situations. And it was interesting like how he described like how, you know, there's all these promises, something that resonates. It's interesting that this is being like presented to younger audiences, which I think is great. Like, this is part of the subversiveness of Star Trek that we, you know, that we enjoy, because it asks questions. But he talks about how it's like, they say it's, you know, they say it's going to be a better life, but it's always just a better life for them. And we're kind of seeing that a lot, come up a lot in just the world. And I think it's only going to get worse. So it's kind of cool that younger audiences are being presented with this idea of, you know, inequity, and like, you know, what it means to be, you know, used for labor and stuff like that. It's very interesting.
But do you think that younger audiences are going to understand the subtext, or that's just going to go over their heads?
I think for the most part it will go over their heads, but I think they'll remember it. Like, kids might not be watching politics. I mean, I was a weird kid. I was following politics at a very young age, but and that's why I'm probably over it now, and hardly follow it now. But but I think for the most part, you know, the message that they'll take away from this is to be careful and don't let yourself be taken advantage by someone who's coming along promising you that if you do this labor for them, that, you know, your life will be better too, or like the sacrifices as a laborer that you make are for everyone. You know, it's for everyone. If you see your boss living way more, you know, prosperously than you, something's wrong. So, you know, like, they're eating grudge and in a mine, you know, like, and they're basically slaves. So they're an extreme version of it. But you know, a lot of people in the world are slaves to their wages. And so they have no choice to be able to have a roof under their head, or, you know, they have no cushion whatsoever. Like, you have to take whatever job you can, and sometimes more often than not, those jobs are exploitative. So I like
Yeah,
that
kids won't get any of that. I don't think they'll get any of that. That's a little too deep, I think, for even
I
the
guess
show.
so.
Even
I
the show
guess
itself.
so.
I mean, kids will understand. Here's the way I look at it. If I'm trying to look at it from my younger self, that point of view, the way I looked at Star Trek was those replicators. You can just ask for whatever you want in terms of food. That's a dream. That's any dream for a kid. You know, like, that's so when there's elements where Janeway, the Hollow Nanny, is like the tutorial for the newcomers. This is the starship. This is what it does. I bet no kid who would watch this, who had not seen this yet, would know what a brig was. And they're like, oh, brig is like a prison on a ship. Okay, like stuff like that, like the replicators. The fact that you can just order whatever you want, the whole living through the crew on this like adventure, is every kid's dream, is like to get away and go on an adventure with your friends, and you have like the safety of the ship and this mentor, who, yeah, like Dahl doesn't trust at first, but like I think the young viewer would really like, I think, maybe become interested in the broader Trek universe because of what Janeway's telling these kids. Like, you know, get what I'm saying? She's teaching Trek. To put it simply, she's just teaching Trek to kids, and like, we all know what the deal is, and, you know, we know the crew should trust Janeway and stuff like that. But I think I think not only is it a great tutorial for Trek, but it's a great like concept for a video game. Like this show, out of any modern Trek show, is the one I watch and I envision like I could play this game. I can see Janeway coming up. Like, literally, you can just take the cutscenes from this episode of Janeway's like, did you know you have phasers? You can blast it, and then it cuts to, like, the gameplay of you targeting stuff and blasting it. Like, it looks like it could be a good video game. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I think Prodigy has great potential for not only a movie, but a video game franchise. And Nickelodeon is really good at that appealing broadly to kids. Like, we didn't even have Nickelodeon in Canada when I was a kid, but I was aware of their shows because of YTV, which is the Canadian basically version of that, which had a lot of those American shows. Not all of them, as I found out. There's a bunch of Nickelodeon shows that I had no idea existed, but they're a great company to appeal to, like, a wide, broad market. And Prodigy being what it is, like a kid's property, but fun for the whole family type of thing, I think it has the most money-making potential out of any current show.
What do you guys think about the new info about the ship? I'm assuming we're talking about the stats. We find out a little bit more about Protostar with the 2 warp cores and this mysterious other drive or whatever it is. Like,
no confirmation on a holodeck, though, is it?
No confirmation on holodeck, but the whole ship could be a holodeck. We had speculated about that, I think, on Text Trek. Like,
that's another thing. If they introduce a holodeck on the next episodes, whatever episode, I don't even know if this is episode 2 or 3 because it says
this is 3. Technically, it's episode 3.
Okay, well, it says episode 2 on Crave for whatever reason.
On Paramount Plus, it says episode 3. I said this to Toddy. Actually, he's going to correct himself in his next video. But Trek on the Tube, our regular co-host here, said that he was, upset about the 45-minute time because it is confusing. It's structured like they built it, and I'm happy about that, as if it's one episode, right? But technically, it's 2 episodes. The last one. So when it airs on Nickelodeon, it might air as 2 different episodes, maybe back to back. I'm not sure they'll do a 45-minute premiere, but yeah, it's episode 3.
They premiered it as, it confused the TV guide because they premiered it as one episode, 45-minute episode, and then the next episodes were like they changed the numbers on them, so it's weird.
No, on CBS, on Paramount Plus, when they first premiered it, at least for me, it was Lost and Found Part 1 and 2. But if I, when I went back later to watch the episode again, they lost the 2 parts.
Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, they lost the parts 1 and 2, and they just put Lost and Found. And I'm like, where did the...
I would love for every episode to be 44 or 45 minutes. I think, because this episode in particular went by so quick, I think. Because, it was... I mean, they got everything done. They got into the conflict with the star, and they got out of it, and, like, that was it. But I was like, yeah, I want more, though. Like, it feels like it felt short. And I think the pacing of it, it's a good sign of pacing when the episode's over and you're like, oh, shit. Mandalorian did that to me. Where I'd be watching it and I'm like, oh, damn, it's over. Like, it goes by quick. Something I find, like, you really enjoy that's nicely paced.
Yeah, you don't feel the...
goes by quick.
You don't feel the weight of it. I'm sorry, DJ.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say the only thing was the dial thing, and like the complaint I had about Janeway, which Starfleet boys said, maybe she's just playing along. That's not even a complaint now, so I'd like to see where that goes.
Go back to... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marcelo.
One thing that I loved about this episode that didn't really have anything to do with the episode, but I love that they put an opening credit sequence, because last week they put the opening credit sequence and all the credits from all the writers and the actors at the end. I was like, yes, they put it.
Yeah, but everyone, I don't know, not everyone. A lot of us were assuming that they did that to not reveal the protostar. Like, it was like a, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, since it was like, I think of the first 2 episodes as a genuine premiere event, like they did for Deep Space Nine, like they did for, like, I guess TNG. A lot of people
Right.
think of they air it as Encounter Farpoint Part 1 and 2 nowadays,
Right, right,
but
right.
it originally it aired as for the first time it aired as an event, a one-time event, and I think that's what we can think about the first two episodes of Prodigy as well.
I think it's the first Trek show to ever do that. Not show the opening
The
credits from the get go,
I'm pretty
despite the cold
safe
open.
in saying
I mean,
that.
but,
Yeah, it's true.
um,
But yeah, it was nice to see that they went to a familiar format where you have the opening credits and they look great and it's exciting to watch. I don't want to skip them. You can't skip them on Paramount Plus
No.
anyways. But
and if you look at a lot of shows throughout the years, the very first episodes of a lot of shows don't have traditional opening credits. Now I know I
Right.
understand why they did it here. They wanted to keep the protostar, but that's not uncommon to have a show begin with like the title and then the story and then the literally episode 2 is like everywhere you look, something like that.
Protostar looked really good. All the I watched it in the morning on my iPad and it looked fine. But when I watched it on TV, like where it's scaled up, to a full size, it looked so gorgeous. And I was just like remarking the opening shot that shows the protostar in space. Like, it almost looked like, again, the way it was shaded and everything, it almost looked like quote unquote live action. Like for
Yeah.
a second, I was like, oh wait, why does that look so good? Like,
There's one shot of the L-cars in this episode that
Yeah,
for a
the
second
L-cars.
almost looks real, and you're like,
no,
oh,
there's a lot of attention and detail, and there's a lot of fine detail. Like I really feel a sense of the ship, and I really feel like I'm in love with Protostar. Like I would love it to be just my personal starship. Like it's such a cool. It's
she's
little.
not a big ship either.
She's not a big ship. Like you could tell. I think they said the crew was like about 20 people, perhaps max, and everything's like within walking distance. Like you walk downstairs to leave the saucer bridge module. There's like an open space down there, and then beyond that, there's the engine area, and then below that is, and it's front facing is the shuttle bay, and it makes sense that Protostar has to construct shuttles because it probably deconstructs them also just to conserve space because you want to
Yeah.
use that bay for multi-purposes. Like if you had a bunch of shuttles in there, you could only have one probably. There wouldn't be room to do anything else. And so I like that. I bet when a shuttle returns, it also gets deconstructed or whatever the word would be.
Dereplicated.
Dereplicated.
I
Thank
don't
you. And so it's cool because it reminds me of the technology in Picard, where I guess that's all the new info Blue's talking about is that you get a lot about the ship in
You
this
get a
episode.
sense of the geography of the ship.
The
like, where
geography of the
things
ship, its
very-
functions,
it's very well
its abilities.
framed. People
Yeah,
don't
it's-
people don't give credit enough to, like, I guess, cinematography and animation. They really take advantage of the widescreen format, and they frame things, and the angles they use are very coherent. So you know where everything is just from this episode. The episode gives you a lot of information about, I don't know every inch of the ship. There's still parts of the ship we haven't seen. I think they may be a holodeck, but not only is the interior of the ship really good looking, the actual ship itself is a great looking ship, and I think people will want to get that model, and kids will want to get that toy because it looks better than I'll be
kids
honest,
of
it
all
looks better
ages.
than La Serena.
This kid,
It looks better than Discovery.
She's
And, you know,
gorgeous. She's a gorgeous ship, and I like the size of her. And I saw that like the nacelle thingies spin, which is cool. So yeah, Blue says yes. This is what I was talking about. So yeah, okay, good. We satisfied your question about new info on the ship. Where's Paul and Matt and Toddy? Although I was just about to say what we're not good enough. Although you guys are great, just
I'm not good
asking
enough.
because
Fine,
curious.
I'm not going to show up ever again. Goodbye.
I'm
So-
getting the F out of here.
I think-
Later.
I think Paul and
Bye.
Toddy and Matt will be back next week, and maybe these guys will be back too. I think PJ comes in now, so he can come next week as well. Marcelo, I'll let you know. I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
I know how you operate. All you got to
yeah,
do is ask, bro.
I was actually gonna postpone this episode till next week, but I decided to go ahead and do it. I had an event and I couldn't get home on time for the usual time frame. Also, I don't know if I can go into details, but I hope everyone listening will send good wishes to Matt. He could really use them right now. So just send good vibes and good wishes out in his direction. All right, so yeah, our Matt, who's our resident self-appointed ship whore. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he would have loved this episode.
He would have loved. I think he will love this episode. I can't wait to talk to him about it.
You get us now, so we're your hardcore, like rough and tumble kind of friends.
Oh wow!
So when people tune in, they're like, "Oh, he's got the guys from the neighborhood. He's got the tough guys."
The tough guy.
He's got those guys from that other channel.
Hey, you know what? There's a whole diverse.
I'm sorry, that makes the other guys not sound not tough. That's not what I meant. But yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I think Toddy, we could all kick his ass even without help. Even though he's a big guy, he's tall. I think we could all easily. But Matt and Paul, they look like they have hidden abilities like martial arts or something like that. So who knows? Braxton
I'm really
is
a marshmallow.
Braxton can definitely kick anyone's butt. He's super ripped. Hey guys, Thursday greetings. I'm just home from maternals. Hey Braxton, nice to see you. But anyways, back on track because I know our Hollow Nanny is.
Like, Braxton, can you walk me to my car?
But yeah, so we got a lot about the ship. We got a little hint of. Okay, I have a question for you guys, which is. What's the deal with Daddy?
What's the deal?
What's the deal with Daddy and thinking it's his ship? Like, what do you guys think is the story over there? What's the deal?
I don't know, but there better be an entire flashback thing explaining it all.
Explain. So interestingly enough, Janeway says in the beginning of the episode, she says, "I'm programmed to assist the crew of the Protostar to get back to Federation space from the Delta Quadrant." So that's her mission, is to get the crew of Protostar back to Federation space. But like, who were the crew? Where are the crew? We don't know anything.
I'm wondering if they can ask her those questions though. I'm wondering if if there's things she can't say to them, because wouldn't they? Wouldn't somebody eventually ask her? Hey,
maybe she's been corrupted by somebody.
Wouldn't it be amazing if she was evil Janeway?
No.
Whoa.
You guys are terrible. No, that's not going to happen in this episode. Janeway will stay pure.
No, but I floated this theory a while ago. Maybe the big bad of the series. Forgive me, guys. I forget names. You know me, but maybe. The reason why he's stuck on this planet, and maybe the reason why he wants to Protostar so bad, maybe he got marooned there by Starfleet. So maybe he worked for Starfleet.
Could be.
And the Federation, he knows all about it. He was like trying to prevent. Gwyn from learning about it. Hollow Nanny says, IMDb says we'll see the Diviner and Dreadnought in 8 episodes.
IMDb is the most unreliable source for that kind of specific information when all the episodes haven't aired. And the reason for that is that people go in and assume things. And that's always been proven wrong. Not always, but people guess at that because, like, for example, you look up any show that's not aired or currently airing, that information will change as the episodes or the season goes by and stuff. That makes sense that the Dreadnought would be in 8 episodes. I assumed he would be in 10 episodes, but knowing exactly, putting that information out there of exactly how many characters are in each episode is not a thing that happens. It just isn't. It has to air first, and then people will know.
Yeah, so it's an assumption, but it's safe to say that they're going to be in a lot of episodes. So who knows? They might end up being in 8, 9, or 10. There's 10 episodes, I think.
For example, if a character in a show like The Walking Dead is a good example, you could just look up, how many episodes is this character in this? They must die then because they're only in 3 out of the 12 episodes. and they were a main character last season.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so
Like that kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. So it's not accurate. I get it. That makes sense.
It's
Until the show's aired, because they're constantly updating it, so they'll
Yeah.
update it as each episode goes by. Blue says, "Oh, sorry, Marcel, you were going to say something. I interrupted you."
no, but I know. I was just going to say that IMDb is most accurate after a movie or a TV show has concluded its initial run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the ship from the future. Oh, Blue says, "I think the ship is from the future, and so is Daddy, as you say." Yeah, I've been calling him Daddy. I forgot his name.
I really don't want time travel to be involved again with Star. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
Peter Bishop.
it just is such a crutch. I think the mystery of the protostar should be like, because they say they've been on the place for in the place for years doing the mining. So like, how many years is that? Because it's 2383. Voyager got back when 2379.
Yeah, basically, I think someone said that it's somewhere around 5 years after. This takes place somewhere around 5 years after Voyager got home.
Okay, so 78 then.
I don't think time travel.
79 is Nemesis, and she's an admiral then. So
I don't think time travel will come into play in the sense of like that they will time travel. I don't think that the drive is a time travel drive. I hope it might be. Who knows? But we'll see where the show goes. I personally don't care if time travel becomes a thing in the show, but I do think that like time travel might be responsible for them being stranded. I think they're stranded. I think he's stranded. I don't know. I have this like
I
feeling
don't know.
that he's stranded somehow.
Can we do a little speculation? I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
the end game for
absolutely.
this season will be, but it would at least be, if it's not for the season, it would be for the show as a whole, like whether it's 3, 4, whatever seasons, either this season or overall. At some point, the ship will be so damaged, and the Janeway hologram will cease to exist somehow, and they've lost her. You know, they've lost her for good. Like, she's not coming back. Then they meet the real Janeway, baby. And it's like, and she's
Wow, you're
older,
right.
she's older, and she's more, you know, and they're like, oh, you're the real, and it's like at this whole, that would be such a great ending to either the season or the show itself. I think that's, either way, they have to
Well, you
meet
could
the
still
real
have that.
Janeway.
Yeah,
You could still have the hologram around, but it would be more dramatic to lose
I think
the hologram and then meet the real person that it was based on.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Or maybe we find out that Janeway was somehow able to, get telemetry from this hologram, and she's been like following their missions. I don't know. And Chakotay hasn't even come into play yet, which, apparently we're gonna see Chakotay again. So who
Oh my God! You just
Yeah,
you just sparked an idea.
Go ahead. Speculation time, audience. You guys can, audience members, please speculate as well.
What if somehow they in the Alpha or Beta quadrant they detect the protostar again, and like Janeway and Chakotay are characters, like the real versions of themselves on the other side, kind of like tracking what's going on, and like
they're trying to get to protostar as well. Interesting.
That would be cool. Because Chakotay is in there somehow, so...
Do you think we'll see a Voyager refit then on the show?
Oh my God, we're getting too... We're
getting too crazy here, right? This is too...
It's too much.
That's a little bit much. Calm down. It's only been
Just
like
watch it
3
all
episodes.
comes true. Everything
I'll tell you what, watching this episode, I thought a fun thing to do would be a Short Treks live action about what happens to Protostar before the events, because honestly, like, you could upscale the Protostar backgrounds, do the AR wall, and it would probably look like a real ship, like a live action ship. So you could do a Short Treks that shows what happened, how Protostar ended up where it is.
I think they're going to show that in the season, though.
Yeah,
I think it would be incredibly disappointing, even like from a kid's point of view, because you want that. You don't want the mysteries up in the air until next season. Like, they've got to show what happened. I mean, and I'll be disappointed if the show goes on and they don't start wondering or asking questions, or I want to know more about this hologram, what she knows, what she may be hiding, what she can and can't say.
Say yeah, there's a lot.
You got me
there's
paranoid about her now, Starfleet.
That wasn't me. That was Marcelo.
Like, how much character growth do you think we're gonna get when it comes to when it comes to like season 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, how many seasons this show goes on? How much character growth do you think we're gonna get from the main group of characters
As much as we
move
need.
forward?
I think we'll get as much as we need. I mean, that's like I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest, because it depends on like, I guess it just depends how the show plays out. But I do think already we're seeing growth from just 3 episodes, so I think it's going to be a lot, maybe, to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like it feels like the characters are going to grow very quickly and a lot, and which makes sense because kids are growing at that age, so it's probably relatable.
I think the rift throughout this season, maybe between Dal and Gwyn, that'll take a while to simmer down. No, I don't think there's any kind of. I don't think there's going to be any romance of any kind in the show.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
they might meet exterior characters.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think if there were romance, it would be Gwyn and Dal, because they're like set up to be like, you know, young sweethearts. You know, like oh, I hated, you know, that boy, and now I like him. You know, like that kind of thing. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think that's the show's like vibe. I agree.
I think at some point in some episode this season, I think it would be a great idea for Dal to find his people and figure out where he came from.
Yeah, because we don't know what species he is, where he came from, like you just said, PJ. So that'll be something.
And does he know? Did he say
he's a nobodyan?
In the nobody in the previous episode, did he when he's like, oh yeah, that's a personal question, but he was like, I don't actually know, you tell me, right? So I don't think does he know?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't even know.
All he knows is he was apparently, it seems like he was too young when he was taken. He was really young, and it just opens up a bunch of questions about how long has that thing been going on. And if the protostar was there for more than 5 years, then that presents. What did they make the hologram of Janeway while they were still out there in the Delta Quadrant?
That's what makes me wonder.
I mean, they could technically.
If the dates are accurate, it makes me wonder. Well, I mean, all of like, it just makes me more and more. It makes me think more and more she's from the slight future. She might be from just after Picard, protostar, but that would be the only time.
People talked about the hairdo being an indication of when the protostar actually was built.
Well, but the Janeway holo, you're talking about the Janeway hairdo?
And she said, based on one of the most decorated captains in Starfleet. Was that after all the Delta Quadrant stuff, or was she a decorated? No, she was the first. That was the first job. Never mind.
She becomes like an admiral.
First captain job.
Yeah, and she becomes like an admiral pretty much right away, because they come home and she's already an admiral in Nemesis, right?
Yeah, I just want the timeline to be clarified, but I mean, it's no.
I know who can break it down.
I don't think they'll mess it up. Like, I don't think they will contradict anything.
No,
I don't think so either. At this point,
this is a kid show, guys. They wouldn't do something that way.
But people do say that a lot, but there is an incredible amount of detail and attention to detail in the show that, like with Mike McMahon in Lower Decks, you can kind of afford to do that.
Yeah, but Mike
it's something harder about live action and getting everything, all the little details right for some reason. But with animation, you can constantly go in there and retweak and that doesn't look okay. These L cars make them look a different way, or it's so much harder to do that with live action.
I think it's interesting because, you know, I haven't finished Voyager, but I'm seeing that the Doctor hologram is evolving. Like, the more they leave him on all the time.
Is this the first time you're watching Voyager?
Yeah, it's the first time ever that I'm watching.
Really?
You're still not done?
Wow, I thought you were rewatching it. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not rewatching it. I'm watching it for the first time. But the Doctor's
going to become your favorite character, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Him and Seven are my favorite characters in that whole show.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's already one of my favorite characters, so that's
Robert
great.
Picardo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I loved him in Gremlins too. Anyways, he's in a lot of stuff. But anyways,
how about an ashtray that says "Rest your butt here"?
Oh my gosh. uh, the hologram, his hologram, Dr. Zimmerman. Well, he's not doctor. The doctor is it kind of is evolving, and so I imagine when they get back to the Alpha Quadrant, the Daystrom scientists download all the new algorithms and like things that the doctor had developed for himself and integrate that. So I think the Janeway hologram's already advanced where like she probably picks her look, like she probably picked her hairstyle, like the way she likes. She's probably got already a little bit more sentience than the average hologram. She might even be considered a person.
Do you think she goes to the hollow bathroom?
she does. She did. Well, she has real
Drinking coffee.
She has real holographic coffee, so I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to the holographic bathroom. She could have a whole lot. Like, what's interesting is like when you shut a hologram off, the hologram might continue in this like other realm, like in their like they might not have.
Well, it
they might be
has to be aware of you if it's an emergency hologram. It has to.
Yeah,
be
so
aware
it's
of...
like Siri. It's on all the time in a weird way, right? Yeah.
It's
so
listening,
yeah, it's always listening. So like. Maybe she doesn't really go away. And she seems to be able to do the thing that Dr. Zimmerman does where she can turn herself on as well, because she kind of appears without them summoning her sometimes.
Well, most people would love that. That advantage.
Now we're getting into Friday night territory here, but like,
No,
but yes,
we are nowhere near Friday night territory, so we're fine.
I think they put Janeway's image over the hologram long after it was developed. Yeah, maybe that's true. Anyways, those were the last thing I guess we should talk about is the diviner. I kept saying daddy, but it's the diviner. Thank you for correcting us, Hollow Nanny. But the diviner has like, so he's after, the other part of my question is he's after Protostar. It's his ship, blah, 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 but he has this insane technology. He can cloak an entire asteroid. He has this ship. What's that like? What is the deal there? Like something I'm like, there's so many questions. Like,
it's
and that was a
as
cool
if there's
ship.
something about the Protostar that he wants very badly.
That drive or something. I don't know. It's very
Something's
interesting.
going on with that ship.
Something's
that
going
we don't
on.
know
I really
about
want to
yet.
know. I want to know. And there's no clues. I guess it goes back to talking about the engine room, which by the way I think is beautifully designed. I love the two warp cores that come together kind of, and then there's that other drive in the middle or whatever it is. But yeah,
Activating dual warp core.
Also this
Black
might be
alert.
like this might just be like, again, you can shrug it off to like cartoon time, if you will, but I noticed that I wondered if Protostar doesn't self-repair, because when the shields were off, like the asteroids made some holes in the hull, and in the later scene when the shields came back on, the hull actually was they didn't show like it repairing itself, but it looked like the hull had repaired itself.
It could
And
be
so
an animation continuity.
that could just be an animation continuity thing, or maybe that's an ability that Protostar has.
It's like
that
a Borg. It's like a Borg.
like a Borg ship, like that it can heal itself, which actually wouldn't be too far fetched, because we actually have like self-healing glass and other technologies today that really actually do that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like Klingons come along and like blow the Protostar to pieces, like hasta la vista, baby.
And then she just comes
and
back
then she
together.
like boom, starts melting and forms back together, like the T-1000.
That would be funny. I think that's all I have in my notes. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about this episode before we give our final thoughts and ratings?
No, as the only writer on this panel, I'm very, very.
I would like to humbly correct you and say that actually
I wrote an entire screenplay in 1999.
Yeah,
and
I've written
pages.
I've written books, short stories, and I'm published. So just perhaps the only screenwriter in this room.
I also
yes.
I don't know.
I also had my letter to Santa published in
Yeah,
a local paper when
there
I was
you
a little kid.
go. So there you go.
As the only as the only screenplay writer on this panel,
Currently writing
yes,
screenplays.
yes. currently writing screenplays. Damn, I miss you guys. I am very, very intrigued of where the story is going to go, but my enjoyment of where the story is going to go is going to be dependent on the maturation of the crew. Like I really, really want to see how far they're going to change from episode 1 to the last episode of the season. I don't think it's. I don't want like a night and day change, I just want Dal to stop acting like an idiot.
He will, like 6 seasons from now. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I think this was the
yeah, I
the
agree.
lesson learned episode. I mean, it would make sense going forward for him not to trust Janeway now, considering like that ordeal. Like she saved their ass, and even Janeway as a hologram is so humble. She's like, no, I just point you in the right direction. I think, like you said, Starfleet, boy, you're making me think that she knows a lot more than she lets on, and she's not. She seemed very simple to me in the episode, but now I'm thinking about it, and I hope that's not
Yeah, and just to piggyback
a
off what
thing.
PJ's saying, the lesson learned is it's okay to ask for help. I saw that on Star Trek tweeted that earlier today. So, like, definitely a clear lesson. That's an important lesson, especially for younger audiences, for younger people who might feel a lot of pressure to do things on their own. It's okay to ask for help sometimes. It's okay for anyone to ask for help. So yeah, I like that a lot. Well, I'm gonna give this episode a strong 9.2. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it both times that I watched it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And, you know, I guess that, like, from the kids' perspective, I was really caught into everything and was, like, really involved in the story. Like, you know, my child self was, like, really enjoying it as well. So, yeah. I can't wait to hear what the real kiddos in my life think of it.
I give it a 7.5.
It's high. Wow. It's like
Which
those are
is
like your lower decks ratings. Like I'm impressed.
yeah. Well, I'm enjoying it about on that level. I don't want to get my hopes up too high about what's going to happen, and where the characters are going to go. I just want cool adventures and reasonable character development. I don't care if by the 5th episode they're all like, we're a family and we're a team now. Great. I don't care if it happens until. I just want each adventure to be something unique and try not to fall back on all of the Trek tropes. Like, I don't want a transporter accident that duplicates one of them. I don't want a time travel episode. I don't want, just. I'm being a bit nitpicky now, but I just want it.
No.
I just want it to be. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. What were you
No,
gonna say?
I'm sorry. You're sorry, and I'm sorry.
Well, I'll say.
Everyone's so
Yes.
nice on this panel.
Yes.
We apologize when we interrupt. It's refreshing. Go on.
I would love to see how the creators of the show, the Hagemans, right?
Yep.
Dan Hag. I am so interested to see how they are going to write Chakotay, because I am not, let's just say, the biggest fan of Chakotay on Voyager, so I want to see if to see if the way that they write him can make me appreciate him more.
If you want
Then I
more
have previously.
appreciation for Chakotay, I suggest you listen to the Janeway podcast, where they try to determine every episode if things were done the wrong way, the right way, or the Janeway. And Chakotay writes slash fiction or fan fiction on their podcast, and it's really entertaining. So you should check it out. Yo, Fathery, what was your rating, Marcelo?
Yes, I will give it a solid 5. So I'm right in the middle.
Cool.
I'm Switzerland.
Switzerland. Blue gave it a 10, which is higher than I gave it, so I might have to I might have to just bump it up to a 10. We might as well just 9.2. I'll hold it at 9.2. We have Text Trek in the house saying, "Yo, everyone, check out Text Trek's discussion tomorrow at its new time, which is 7 p.m. Central. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time." I guess we're about to go into Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure. Anyways, but but yeah, check that out tomorrow. And then we also have some comments, which is Chakotay is about as interesting as a wooden bulkhead.
I want to I want to see if they can make him more like I want to see if they can build him into a skyscraper to go along with the analogy.
Wow. Wow.
Wonderful.
Textrek says Chakotay, the fifth best XO. Wow. We have to do a rating of a ranking of XOs. Maybe that'll happen tomorrow on Starfleet Boy After Dark or Boat Wreck. We haven't
No,
decided.
you
But
you do it. You
it's
do it.
tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Starfleet Boy After Dark is happening tomorrow night. And then Hollow Nanny says 6.5 for this episode. So wow, ratings were like spectral tonight. That's very interesting. Like I'm using that word for the ratings. It was spectral. Uh, Marcelo, can you tell our audience what's going on and where they can find you and where they should go to find all the cool stuff you're doing?
Yeah, well, really the hub for everything that I'm doing online is you can find me on Twitter. I'm at CreekFanatic88. But I would just love to give a quick thank you to everyone who went on my YouTube channel this week to check out my brand new YouTube series. I'm reviewing Sherlock with a good friend of mine, Geeking Review, who is a friend of the show. So I would just like to say, yes, I would just like to say thank you to anybody who listened to our first episode. And I'd just like to let you know that episode 2 is this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the following Sunday is episode 3 at the same time. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who chose to listen to that video because I was working on it for like 6 months. So
very cool. And that's on YouTube at Balloon
Yes.
Head Productions. Marcelo, I don't know if you're in the stream, but if you can post the link or send it to me in the private chat and I'll post it in the public,
yeah, sure.
in the public thing. Because last time someone searched for Balloon Head Productions, there's 2 of them.
I
The
know,
one with the
I
red
know.
logo.
It's not
the one with
complicated. You can find it. It's
yeah,
not
it's the one with the
complicated.
red logo. Check it out. Right? Yours has a red.
If
Yeah.
one's not it,
Marcelo,
it's the other.
yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yes, it's the one with the red logo. Thank you, PJ. Or thank you, Starfleet Boy. It's not that complicated.
PJ, what's going on in your world and where can
Well,
people find you?
Well, me boy, Saturday night at 9 o'clock in the PM, Eastern Standard Time.
That's Eastern.
It's another DS9 commentary. If wishes were horses,
It's a great one.
then beggars would write. Well, that's another DS9 commentary. So. And then the next week, it's going to be me and you again for The Forsaken.
Yep, I'm very excited about both of those. So yeah, check that out. And then tomorrow night, tune in to TQIF, starting off with Text Track, as we already talked about, and then going over to Starfleet Boy After Dark, which starts sometime after 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll give more specifics on Twitter, so follow Starfleet Boy After Dark or Starfleet Boy Actual. That's just Starfleet Boy. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. And it was a really fun discussion for Star Trek Prodigy. And thank you, audience. We really appreciate you so much. If you haven't already, please smash the like button, as it will confound the YouTube algorithm, and we could really use that. And subscribe if you haven't. Also, Textrack told me he only has like 20% of his viewers are subscribed, so maybe it's the same for me. So if you'd subscribe, it would really help out this channel. And subscribe to Boat Wreck and Balloon Head Productions as well. Live long and prosper.